Adeste fideles, regam triumphantes, venite, venite ad Bethlehem. Cum sum videbit regem angelorum, venite adoremus, venite adoremus, venite adoremus Dominum. Oh, that song was Adeste Fideles. I think it's also known as Ode to Joy. Might have been by Beethoven. Can't really remember. Please forgive me. Sung by yours truly. Other than that, that's the intro song for tonight, obviously. But other than that, to repeat myself once again, sorry for the lack of episodes, as you guys know who watch, which are family and friends. There's been a lot going on. I've got a young son. He's 6 months old, bigger than a brick shit house. Young Joe Casserly. So us having these consistent episodes, yeah, falling short, but life happens. And I'll catch you up to speed, mine as well. For big international stuff, or I guess things that are really important, the election. As anybody who knows and watched, Donald Trump, DJT, aka Fo 5, aka Fo 7, was re-elected president of the United States. And I mean, I really don't want to dig too much in the mud, because it's been a few months since this came out, so you're not going to be hearing anything like radically new or inspiring. But I will say it is interesting, the turn on how they've changed the dialogue about President-elect Trump, and also just the way they've changed the dialogue about current President Biden. And it's like now it's totally acceptable to say that the guy's incompetent. It seems to be totally acceptable that Kamala Harris is just seen as a poor candidate for who she was. I don't want to, cut too deep. I mean, she did grow up a middle-class kid, which I can relate. And that was the thing. It was like, it was too relatable, but there was no substance to anything she actually ever said. In terms of Trump, they say that like a big turn in the whole election thing was the fact that like he was going on podcasts, and that sort of long form dialogues that he was having was what was really was a real change, because people got to see outside of a 10-second soundbite. And I mean, if we were to look ahead, I don't really see any sort of future potential presidential candidate not being able to go on and have these 3-hour conversations, speaking extemporaneously. And I think that'll be a big problem for just these sort of corporate suits who get just thrust upon the American people. I myself, I'm for the Constitution and the American people. I'm anti-war. I'm anti just corporate overlords telling people what to do and all that other type of jazz. I mean, people who know me know that about me. And I don't know, to be honest, I'm feeling not really in the same zone as I have been previously. That could be because I'm not all juiced up on the booze. I do got a little bit of Malbec. Cahors 2021. It was a very good year. But yeah, just I don't know. There's a lot going on in my life in terms of where I'm at. Ever since I got out of school, I'm no longer getting the GI Bill, and I'm trying to maintain this luxury apartment in beautiful New York City on the Upper West Side. I got $4,000 a month no longer coming in, so I've been like hustling to do pickup work and all sorts of other things that'll just pay the bills. It's like I'm not sucking dick in Chelsea yet, or at least not for pay. Still doing it for the love of the game, of course, but not for pay. I hope that doesn't take out the enthusiasm, if you know what I mean. Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree. As you can see, it's it's a little, it's full, like it's got some girth to it, but it's a little sad. We got it on the bargain bin. I usually get the Charlie Brown Christmas tree because everybody needs a home on Christmas, you know. But this one was rejected by the previous owners, and the salesman said, yeah, last year we lost, like one person returned a tree, and this year they returned this one. And overall, it's a good tree, and I'm trying to figure out why it would have, like, you know, died too fast. And just with our own sort of living situation, it's like if I sat that next to my steam heat pipe, which provides warmth, you know, to the apartment, and I didn't feed it water, I could see why it would just drain and have the light zapped out of it so fast. So when we got home, I put it in a little tree stand, juiced it up with water, and we haven't really fully decorated it, but we've got a few things. I got my star, this helmet I got from the cornucopia at the Cross Swords in Baghdad, and one of the few things I got out of my divorce was ornaments that my kids made me, which was really like, you know, it's the little things that matter. You know, I have this little ornament. It's my daughter when she was about 2 or 3 years old, and on the back is her little handprint. I don't know if you could really see it, but it's like, those are the things that really kind of matter. And I get to pull it out every year for Christmas. It's like, and if Lily and Barrett, if you're watching, just make me an ornament every year. Just, by the time I'm an old man, if I just have ornaments on my tree of my children at different ages, and of course my grandchildren, hopefully at one point, that's all I need for Christmas. That and your time, you know, spend some time to call me, or let's spend the holiday together. That goes for you too, Nora. I miss you and I love you very much. But yeah, I don't want to get too lost in the weeds on Christmas. But the tree, yeah, it's doing its job. But it's funny because it's just like, I've been building things to make this apartment more comfortable, and every time I build stuff, like, you know, this bar or the walk-in closet with the overhead space, it's like, it makes it more able to like store stuff, but there's just so much stuff. Oh, and you know, I don't really want to leave my apartment in New York because it's like it's the most I've felt like home in one place for such an extended period of time. But it's you know, I got a growing family, you know, with my young son Joe Casserly, who you can hear in the background occasionally, I'm sure. But yeah, I guess on a personal, that's how things are going. I'm looking for a job. I need some all sorts of stuff, but I don't want to skip ahead. We spoke about the election. Speaking of jobs, I did have a job for a pharmaceutical company called Return Solutions. My buddy Bill Bramble, Jordan's friend, for those who know, or not friend but brother, he reached out to me. There was a position in New York where it's like I inherit a book of sales and I maintain the relationship with clients, and then I sort of expand. And the book of sales I was supposed to get here in New York was supposed to be fucking massive. And the actual role of the job day to day is I go to like a mom and pop boutique pharmacy, if you will, not like a CVS, and I pull the drugs off the shelf, I inventory them, and all the soon to be expired drugs, inventory them, and then ship them off to Tennessee to be sent back to the whatever and get them destroyed. And when I went down to Tennessee for the training, I showed up on the Marine Corps birthday. I met a bunch of people who worked there, sang the Marine Corps hymn, did a few other like things because there was a couple Marines that worked there, and then and I met the boss. Boss was a really good guy named Mike, and he takes care of his people. You know, he does a big Christmas party around Christmas, and then takes everybody out on a cruise in the summertime. And everybody worked there for like, you know, multiple years, 10 plus years, right? So I show up, and the first 2-3 days I'm at the warehouse, and I'm learning the basics of just counting the pills, knowing what classes go to what, how to type it in the computer, and all that jazz. And then the next 2 days, I went out and then I did the, what would you say, I went out to a boutique pharmacy to one of the guys who does that job locally, right? I thought everything went well, but if I'm to be honest, it was mind-numbingly boring. And I was just thinking to myself, like, how can I be inspired by this job outside of a paycheck? Because in all things in life, it's like money's not enough. You know, I'm just such a greedy white man. I need more than just money. I need to have it all. But, I mean, I'd be happy swinging a hammer for half the salary, you know? But the way I saw it was, I had two cousins of mine who died from drug abuse, heroin to be specific. And I don't know the path that got them to that stage, but for me, like, I sort of rationalized what would keep me in that job by just getting drugs off the street. You know, like, to me, that would be enough. And, but on Friday, after my week of work, I got called to the local bar where the boss likes to hang out. And as soon as I get there, homeboy was like, as soon as I walked, he's like, hey man, I hate to do this to you, but we're gonna have to let you go. Which caught me by surprise. I definitely did not see that coming. And I was just like, why? And he told me, you know, looking at your resume and getting to know you, we don't see you sticking around very long. It's like when we hire somebody, we look to hire them for 10 to 15 years or however long. Like, they want someone who's going to get married to the company, which I can appreciate. And like, in my heart, I was just thinking to myself, well, thank God, because I was already cooking up other things I could be doing to go do, like, just to whatever. But either way, I feel like I was fired without cause. And I also feel like homeboy was kind of floating me some bullshit. You know, he didn't admit to it. I stayed around. I got a couple free drinks out of him. But like, I just felt like he was not being 100% honest with me, if I'm going to be honest with you. And, but his instinct isn't wrong. And I hold no ill will against the guy. It was just if I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I probably would have worked there for about a year, got my finances squared away, and then moved on to something else, because I wouldn't want to burn anybody for the opportunity. But I also had other potential opportunities in the near future that I was looking to potentially transition over to. One such opportunity, big shouts out to Miles Bratham, the guy who helped get me into Columbia. Like, he told me the program, the GS, and like how to navigate different things. He apparently is a pretty fucking like plugged in dude to a bunch of different things in the not only just military special operations world, but also in politics and higher education. Like, the motherfucker wanted me to go to Harvard, told me about programs I could go to get into there. But I told him, like, hey bud, I was done with school once I graduated, because I'm just, at this point, like, I went to Columbia because I thought that's where the fight was, you know. Like, it's like it was no longer on a foreign battlefield, it was on the American campus, because that's where a lot of the bullshit's been coming out of. But I just don't see what else I could get out of education at that point. But the one thing he told me about that I was rather interested in, potentially for work, was to go on and work for the incoming Trump administration. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate your input. And the job he was talking about is, like, they're trying to staff. I don't even know how they're staffing it, but what they're looking to do is staff positions where sounds of New York City. I don't know how much it hides it. But they're looking for guys with special operations backgrounds with a degree from an Ivy school. So I work for, you know, I have those check marks off. What we're going to be doing, from what I'm told, is, you know, I don't want to say getting even, but just going after people who committed acts of treason, you know, like in terms of, like, let's say General Miley talking to the Chinese behind Trump's back, or I don't know to the extent of what would be there, but I will tell you this: I am not loyal to a president. I am not loyal to a party. I am loyal to the Constitution, my brothers in arms, and the citizens of the United States, and that'll never change. So anybody who thinks that the Trump administration is evil count me as a friend, not because I think they're evil, but because I would hold them accountable if given a position that garnered any sort of authority as to what is right. I love my country, and I love my family and my extended family. And by extended family, I mean the citizens and the men and women of this great country. It's like, and all the people who want to be citizens of this great country. It's like, I've said this countless times to other people that in that it's like, to me, like in Europe, you know, people have these genetic bonds to the land and to the country, but in America, it's not, you know, a race that makes you an American. To me, it's a state of mind. It's the reason why we kick ass in the Olympics and explore the farthest galaxies. It's the ideals of what it is to be an American, and I think that extends to any, you know, race, creed, culture, sexuality, or whatever the fuck that is, to the next level. Now, since I'm, well, that's quite a mouthful. But if that doesn't work out, I'm considering doing contracting and overseas again. But it's for me, I don't want to hurt another person ever again. If I could do something in the medical field or training applications, because if I can help a young man make it through the fucking fields of combat, or in a protective role, it's like I don't want to hurt another person ever again in my life. Which I say that, but at the same time, I'm also the same guy who got into a fucking fist fight back in May. But I don't want to rehash all that noise. But I mean, the truth of it is, like, what caused me to do that was I was surrounded by people who were threatening me, and I struck out in self-defense after being that guy blowing fucking smoke in my face. And because I was unaware of the contents of what that motherfucker was smoking or his COVID status, I decided to, you know, defend myself and fight back. School, of course, I got my degree, so whatever, I'm moving on up and out. Other things that are going on in New York, right before I was going to get that potential job that would have ultimately taken me down to New Orleans, I fell into a crew of friends here in New York. Some of the guys I went to school with, other guys were just like, you know, drinking buddies. But after Mel's closed down, I felt kind of lost and without a social circle, and which is big for me and Sarah, because it's like going down to Mel's was like our living room, because it's a little more space to stretch out, talk, and bullshit. But it was our community, so to speak. And now it's like now that I feel like I have a little bit more community again, it's been fun. And funny story. Speaking of, last week, was it a week ago, Sarah? When we went out with Joe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so last Saturday, before we got the tree, the plan was, hey, let's go buy a fucking Christmas tree and spend the day decorating it, right? So, and then as we say that, I get a fucking message from that group chat, and they're like, hey, we're going to watch the Army-Navy game. So I was like, oh, well, fuck it, let's go watch the Army-Navy game. We head on over to it. Not the real fucking Army-Navy game. Like, they didn't show up in D.C., but like we went to the bar, and we had such a great time just at the bar, mixing it up, friggin' talking all sorts of noise. And then and my buddy Colby, he was sort of chatting up the bartender, young girl, probably mid-20s, cute, big cans, nothing to write home to mom about, but she had this sort of, you know, vibe or personality to her that, you know, one can find endearing. And I had to get home because I wanted to call my daughter Nora before it got too late. So I tell Sarah, she wanted to stay out, and I was like, I'll take Joe with me, I'll call Nora and then I'll be back. She's like, nah, you just go, I'll kick it with these guys. And then I go home, call my daughter, have a nice, beautiful hour-long conversation, and I hear everybody moved over to a different bar. They went over to 1020. And we get over there, and we're having, there's this one section, it feels kind of like it's a VIP spot, but 1020 is a dive bar, so there's no such thing as VIP, really. And we get there, scoop up Joe, and we're hanging out, we're talking bullshit and meeting all sorts of new people. And turns out the bartender didn't go out with my buddy Colby, so slight L. I don't know if he's still in pursuit of that or not. And we're over there.
I don't think he even remembers that.
Oh no! As it turns out, he ended up getting blackout. But we were we were bullshitting for quite a bit, and then yeah, stayed out late. And it's funny too, because like here I have my young son, 6 months old, handsome, stout as can be, you know, out late night with us, because you know it's like I wouldn't blame it on the fact that I'm Puerto Rican or half Puerto Rican or whatever the 23andMe would say. But at the end of the day, it's like my son and my girlfriend are an extension of me, and if I'm going to go out, I want them to be with me. And like if we lived in a culture that's sort of like focused on children and just and rather than as a weight or an anchor, it's just they're part of what's going on. And if anything, it might help chill people out on how ridiculous they want to go out and be. But me and Sarah really didn't get ridiculous until we came home and started fighting about nonsense. Yeah, but all right. So but there's a guy in that fucking group chat, which is fun, who is going to NYU. He's in a master's program, and he alerted me about something about a master's program that I'm considering, because if I end up getting into it and enroll in the spring semester, it's like I'll get my money coming in again, and then from what I'm told by that buddy Miles, who I mentioned earlier, fucking the government unlocks wicked good grants or student loans for master students, and because I'm a 100% disabled veteran, it all gets forgiven, which that would be pretty rad. It could help me out of this current hole that we're in. But and then the other school program I'm considering is there's a oh, you pain in the butt. What you can't see off camera is Sarah's trying to tease me. There's a business master's program down at the University of Miami where I go to school once every 7 weeks, like in person, and then I'll get my full BAH and stuff. I don't know. From what I understand, master's programs is how you like do your networking. So I don't know how much that would help me outside of just the money coming in and the other sort of those loans I was talking about before. But yeah, it's like I'm in a transition space, which is weird for me. And then of course, if this Beaux Happy Hour really kicks off, then who knows? I'll just be making content. And I'm not above OnlyFans. It's just depending on what I do on OnlyFans. Like some people just say curse words or cook or do gun videos. But since all my fans are friends and family, I know for damn sure they don't want to see my ass.
That's just different. They won't subscribe to that.
Yeah, true that. Yeah,
I know a couple people that would want to see your ass.
Well, how much are they looking to pay? Because right now we need the money, motherfucker. And residual income would be nice.
Look.
Thanksgiving. What did we end up doing for Thanksgiving?
What was that?
Oh, I fucking worked Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That was a bummer. But it wasn't really a bummer because, so, one of the part-time jobs I do to make ends meet is I'm doing high-end security work for a company out in the Hamptons, and like I have to fucking rent a car, drive. If there's no traffic, it'd take me an hour and a half, but I never usually catch no traffic. It takes about fucking 3.5 to 4 hours to get the motherfucker out there. And I've been working for the guy, former Marine. Then he spent a lot of time, he was a police officer for X amount of years. Most of the guys I work with are cops if I'm working with somebody. And I communicated through text, but when I actually met him on site for this post, the guy who I was like the home I was watching that time, fucking billionaire with a B and big name guy. I'm not, because I'll keep my clients' details to themselves, but I was getting paid $1,200 for a 12-hour shift on Thanksgiving. And when I rolled up, my boss was on site, and I ended up getting to speak to him for like a good 45 minutes, and like really got to chop it up and get to know him as a person. And I gotta say, great boss and leader. after we have our little conversation, he's like, he said, "Oh, by the way, I got everybody who's on shift tonight a one-person turkey dinner cater situation." And I was like, "Well, it's nice to know now because I bought some taquitos and a slice of pizza from 7-Eleven." He's like, "All right, just throw that shit in the trash. I got you." So it really, when you have a good boss, it makes it it makes showing up to a job fulfilling, you know? Same thing with like how I was saying before. If I have a purpose to go to do a job, that fills in the blanks. Like, you know, a man can't live off, you know, bread alone, but also it's like money's not enough, you know? But then once again, I'm just a selfish colonizing white guy, so I just gotta have it all. So that was Thanksgiving. Early months of December, or early part of December, I can't really think of what's going on. But, oh, you know what did happen recently? The fucking assassination of the United Health CEO. The hostel at that guy, the potential guy who killed him, is literally on 92nd and Amsterdam, like a 10-minute walk from where I live here in New York. And you know, my analysis is obviously, it's a little late, so I'm not going to be saying anything that's too striking. But when I watched the whole thing, the way it all happened, the way I saw it is, when the gun jammed, the shooter didn't. He rolled right into immediate action, continued to fire, and took him out. So it looked like a real professional hit. And his next move, to jump on a fucking city bike and go into the park, that's exactly what you should do. Now, if it was me, inside of that backpack, I'd have a pair of running clothes, and because it was around like 6 a.m. or whatever, change into fucking running clothes and then just go for a fucking run and then exit the park with everybody the fuck else. You know, leave everything else. You know, set it, like, who knows what the fuck what you're gonna do. You could leave the backpack for some homeless guy to fucking grab. So everything was done to a T. Motherfucker got out of the city, and I just find it very hard to believe homeboy got caught at a McDonald's with all sorts of incriminating evidence, a shitty goddamn manifesto. It's like, who's teaching these motherfuckers how to write? I thought this guy had a 130 IQ and went to UPenn. Like, there's just something there's something fishy about all this, you know? Like, and also like the pictures that I've seen of him, of the, you know, the shooter, like, he wasn't wearing the exact same outfits. Like, I think the backpacks were different colors. And homeboy, like, it's just, he has a little bit of a gay face. Like, his smile that he was flirting with the girl, it just looked like kind of effeminate. The other picture with the dude with the mask and the eyes, like, besides for the eyebrow, there was something different about it that didn't look as, it just looked tougher, you know? I mean, at the end of the day, is he a fall guy? Is he the real shooter? I don't know if we'll actually find out, but with all the other shit that's been going on, it's hard to believe anything anymore. You know what I'm saying? And then, speaking of shit, it's hard to believe. These goddamn drones flying all over New Jersey, of all places, and New York. There's all sorts of theories floating around. Is it aliens? Is it Iran? Is it us? Whatever the fuck it is, it's fishy to high hell. And with the state of other things going on, with like the escalations in the Ukraine-Russia situation, they might have let us fucking think that Trump won the election, but is there going to be a fucking actual transfer of power? I don't know. Until shit has, in the Marine Corps, you can't believe anything's happened until you're doing it. You know, like, when are we deploying? You don't fucking know until your boots are on the goddamn ground. And I don't know, I'm just feeling kind of lost. It's hard for me to have really much faith in anything outside of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. You know, and because that's the one rock that I actually do stand on with confidence. And oddly enough, I got that confidence thanks to this goddamn school I went to. I probably shouldn't be using like Lord's name in vain as I'm saying all this shit, but I'm proving a point, you know. It's like, So
Can I add a little sauce?
yeah, please do.
I think inauguration and the inauguration day or the day after, shit's gonna hit the fan.
You think so?
I don't want to even be in New York for it. I was gonna go to Jersey, but it looks like that might be.
Yeah, but South Jersey's a little bit further away.
That's where the drones are.
They're all over the place. But I mean, if you think about like the bubble of where something would be, like I don't. It seems like if they were to hit New York City,
New Jersey, isn't that the most populated state? What
densely populated.
Yeah,
That's
but what
also,
if it's like something small that they only have, like, I only have X amount of square feet to cover?
But that's the whole. All that population concentration is that knuckle around New York, you know. But it's like if you fucking take out New York City, I mean that is a fucking.
Yeah, maybe they're
blow,
like.
But that's like such a.
Like, let's go after number 2, not number 1, you know?
But what is number 2? Philadelphia?
No.
You know?
Burn that place down.
Yeah.
What is that anymore?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to gauge. It's just, shit's fucking weird.
It's cuckoo.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's weird for everybody. I don't think anybody is actually confident what's going on. It's like, my parents, they're blue dog Democrats, you know, they're voting blue no matter who, and they're like, I don't want to say slaves to the Democrat Party, but it's like they don't see the modern Democrat Party as like what they signed up for in the 80s. You know, it doesn't feel like the same party anymore, at least not to me. You know, it's like, it's the party of child mutilation, moral degeneracy, corporations, big business, censorship, pro-war. You know, and if I'm wrong, please hit me up in the comments and challenge me, or fucking just hit me up on the phone, because I know I'm not going to have much reach outside of my family anyway. Please challenge, like, because right now I feel lost, and I would like to have somebody guide me, like show me where my thinking is wrong, and I'll happily shift gears if you can convince me. Like, I want to have.
Can I translate that for the speakers?
Please
He
do.
wants to argue with you.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. Speaking of, look at my little Santa Claus, my gay black Santa Claus who's in a wheelchair. Like, if this wasn't made as a joke, what the fuck else could you consider it?
Well, I have to ask you, what, in your inclusive Barbie over there, what happened to him? Why did he end up in a wheelchair?
This is not mine. This is fucking
Yeah,
Target. I bought that at Target.
Oh, he didn't have a story?
No, if you really want to get shouts out to Flankers Talk Podcast, the best news podcast of all time. They highlighted that, and like once I saw that it was being sold at Target, I fucking just went online and I ordered 10 of them. Like, they're gonna be adorning the tree later. I'm probably gonna string them up. With have some Tennessee wind chimes as my Christmas ornaments on the tree, because you know I only have so many kids, and I haven't been getting these residual ornaments every year, so I'm clinging on to the past.
You don't have enough kids. You said that?
You know what? Yeah, I don't have enough kids.
Oh,
I
you
want
want
more.
more.
Joe needs another brother or sister. Because I mean, that's the thing. When I think back of like the time I spent with Lily and Barrett and the way they interplayed together, it's like watching that. Like stepping on the outside and being on autopilot, you know? Like, think of how you grew up with your sister.
I know.
Yeah, it's like when you
Viewers, thick as thieves.
and actual thieves fucking stealing goddamn American flags, you know? Oh,
And cars.
and cars, yeah, hitting people, but you didn't run. You fucking. On a health note, I have been leaking a weird fluid from my ear for, I guess, at least 2 months, maybe longer. And it's starting to concern me a little bit because it's not very viscous, or it can be at times. It fucking smells like hell sometimes, other times not. Like, now this ear was reconstructed because it got blown up years back. And when it got reconstructed is when I started having these other issues. But this this drainage issue is kind of new, and I'm waiting to go to the doctor or get another chance to go to the doctor, to the VA, to get that shit all tightened up, figure out how to fix the issue. Other than that, I'm not really sure what else to say. I know we're once again short of the hour.
Well,
but
talk about where you're going after this.
oh, after this, my buddy Augustus, rather. You caught me on that last time. Anyway, my buddy Augustus, he invited me to some sort of what do you call it? A Christmas party, and I'm really excited to go because he's got some things going on. He's a former Marine, and I don't know what other opportunities that could extend to. Initially, I wanted to take Sarah and Joe with me, but little Joe, he's been sick recently. He's got RSV confirmed, which, what does that stand for?
It's hard to say.
Well, he's got it. It's some sort of respiratory thing that's like for little kids, like babies and shit. It's bad, and so that's a concern. But the other day, like his breathing sounded a little off, and Sarah's brother, old Eric, one of my best friends growing up, he was a former fireman paramedic. I gotta have him on the show sometime. He's hilarious. Mm-hmm. He was listening to Joe via phone, and he thought it sounded a little bit like pneumonia. And like I had walking pneumonia when I was in high school, and the doctor told me, like, and because I went to the doctors for something entirely different. I might have been just going with my mom and my little brother. He might have been there for my brother. And the doctors heard me breathing, and the doctor was like, what the fuck? Got me checked out. I had fucking walk pneumonia. He's like, dude, you'd be going to the hospital in 2 days if I wouldn't have caught this. So, I'm scared to death of my little son fucking anything bad happening to him. So, and Sarah's obviously equally, if not more, concerned. So she decided to not come along this evening, and I'll make it up to her. I'm trying to figure out what I can do that's nice. So fucking hit me up in the comments, think of something nice I could do for Sarah, besides like treat her well, which is tough from time to time. But yeah, also don't forget about the send us an email. Well, my phone is over there, and it's actually filming, so I can't check the email. Last email told me I got an email from a friend of the show, Brandon Powell, said I was gay. I won't confirm or deny said allegations, but that's the only email I've really gotten. And there was something else. It was on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot it now. But yeah, it's Beaux. Is it Beaux Happy Hour or Beaux HH?
Beaux HH.
Beaux, BEAUXSHH@gmail.com. And yeah, right into the show. Like Scott.
Write in what you would like to see him do for his upcoming OnlyFans.
Yeah, we can do that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, before we cut out.
Do you think he's a bear, a cougar?
I don't know how those words or terms apply to me, but we can figure it out.
What would you like to see? He has a cute Puerto Rican booty with a moose on it.
I do.
He does.
But I'm not trying to show my ass. Like, I mean, might
have to. Look, if it pays the bills, it pays the bills.
Yeah. No, but.
Yeah. Listen, he'll do anything.
Hey, Sarah, just because you want to see me do some fucking freak nasty shit doesn't mean we have to send it to the world. I'd rather have. But you know what though? Just send me anything. You could just insult me, and that could work too. Oh, also.
You're doing OnlyFans. You're doing OnlyFans. You're doing OnlyFans.
See this abusive relationship I'm in? She's trying to control me and turn me into a sex worker.
Out.
I'm getting sex trafficked right now, as you guys can see. And if you want to see, $9.99.
See, I think I know what I'm gonna do for work.
Be a cameraman or person.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll check the emails.
Yeah. What's that bitch's name who just fucked 100 guys? Lily Thomas, Lily Page, Lily something. I don't know, but I'm not ready to fuck 100 guys.
No. You know,
I gotta work
like
up to one first.
He said he'll do anything.
Well, no, that's not the case.
Yes.
I have limits. Stop putting words in my mouth, kiddo. I don't appreciate it. All right. Well,
Okay.
anyway, now we're just rambling, and I'm just making an ass of myself. But if you want to see that ass, like, subscribe, and share. And beyond that, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, a Festivus for the rest of us. Keep it Kwanzaa, and keep your Yuletide gay. Down with all our gay apparel. La 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 la. Won't you hit the end of the button to end the show?
Look at my camera skills.